see.
Back.
Okay.
I'm back. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It is yours truly, Krystal and Shanae to the nay. And we also have Kat that comes in from New Hampshire. Yes. So how was your day, Kat? You had a long day. I know you got to sing all day. Are you dying yet?
So long and yes.
I was like, are you going to be able to stream tonight? She's like, yeah, it's like my favorite part of the day. I was like, okay, girl.
It's a good end cap to the day.
That's true. It's fun. It's fun, especially this topic. Krampus. We're doing Krampus because he is going to be visiting the 5th and 6th of next week. Is everyone prepared for Krampus?
So prepared.
Yes.
Chanel's excited about it, and I'm like, that's okay. Don't come to my house, Krampus. Oh my gosh. I did a chat on Krampus last year. We were trying to stream from my living room, and we had a really cute setup, didn't we? And the laptop was like...
With the tree, Christmas tree and everything.
2 trees.
2 trees.
I know.
Aww.
And then there was a fake fire.
Yeah.
Because we're in Vegas, it's way too hot for a fire. You don't want a fire. And hot chocolate, and then we were like, oh well, it is what it is. So, here we are. We're back in the office. Oh, we were actually on time tonight, too. Can you believe that?
We were.
Like, actually on time. And then technology made us late, so... Anyway, here we are. So, I did a Krampus chat before, and people loved it. It was like a couple years ago, I think I sat in front of the fire, and I told, like, creepy Krampus stories. And I thought tonight we would kind of do something similar, but we're going to dig more into originations and whatnot from Krampus. Before you guys looked into Krampus, Kat, what was your, like, assumption of Krampus, or before you did any research?
I figured it was just, like, the typical way to, like, scare kids.
Right.
You know, like your typical demon or dark figure to scare kids into being good.
Right.
But there's a lot more to it than I thought.
There is a lot. Well, and, like, Chanel and I were sitting there talking last night, and yeah, we're in matching pajamas. We were so ready, guys, okay? We were wearing matching pajamas. We have leopard freaking Krampus hats on. And and the stream didn't work. So anyway, we still have hot chocolate. Do you still have yours?
I do.
No schnapps tonight, don't worry. No schnapps. That's only Wednesdays. We only drink on Wednesdays.
Only on Wednesdays.
Just kidding. So anyway, Chanel and I sat down and we were talking about the Krampus thing. It obviously references back to, like, pagan times, possibly even, like, Nordic history, Nordic lore. But you and I, the first thing we said was, these stories have to originate from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, even if it was some sort of, like, a twisted tale on it, so at one point, was there someone named, quote, Krampus, or maybe even a different name, who was actually punishing children with, like, whips and stuff like that for Christmas? I don't know, I kind of think it's smart, I guess, on the side of, like, German and Austrians for trying to scare the kids into being good, versus where it's like St. Nick, where it's like, oh, I know that even if you're bad, I'm still going to get you 400 presents. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, I guess it's a different way of parenting. It's, like, very, like, it's a different culture, I guess, right? But I still think it's really cool that it's been so embraced in even the United States. I'm having asthma issues, so I will pre-apologize for having asthma coughs. So anyway, okay, where do we want to start? Do you want to start with, like, Nordic lore? Because, like, you're really into that.
Sure. Well, I actually didn't know that Krampus isn't really related to Christmas at all. It's like Krystal said, pagan related, or pagan roots rather.
Pagan lore, yeah.
So, well, my question was, because of what Krampus is portrayed as, he's portrayed as, like, the devil or evil character.
But we need to talk about that too,
Santa.
because we looked into that too.
Yeah, my question was, is it the same as deities like the horned god, Baphomet, Cernunnos, and I think that was it, right?
And we looked into all of those things, yeah.
Yeah, and, I mean, there's, I don't know where it is on this.
It's way down, but the Nordic lore thing, it goes back to, the reason we kind of got really deep when we were researching this last night by accident, and the main reason was because sometimes you pull up Krampus stories and they talk about Krampus having 2 hoofs.
Right.
And that's where we're like, okay, probably then he would be considered a demonic entity, right? Because they do say half demon, half goat man, okay? But then we were looking up some of the stories that say that he has 1 goat foot or hoof and 1 human leg or foot.
Right.
And then we were like, wait a minute. So is this, like, on one side it could be like, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where she is part holy, part human, part dark. Same with Krampus, you know what I mean? Or is he, like, full demon that you summon? Because to me, when I was reading through the lore, he doesn't come across as, like, the typical demon that, like, someone would want to summon during, like, a ritual, right? And why not, by the way?
Yeah.
Why
is Krampus only why does he only come around during Christmas?
What's he doing for the rest of the year?
Does that go back
chilling at home?
Does that go back to the fact that it's said that he is, like, comes and kidnaps children, like the bad children, and brings them to hell, essentially, for all of eternity? That's, I don't know.
Here it is. So we were looking up the German name Krampen is where Krampus comes from. So the German word Krampen means claw. And the tradition also goes back to Norse gods, which means claw.
Wow.
It all relates to that in the underworld. Now, another piece of thing that we found that was really interesting was, this was after World War I, right? After the Hitler era, or I think. There was one of the wars that, like, basically people started looking into religion to save them because war was happening, society, economics was, like, plunging, everything was just, like, demolishing around them. So they decided to turn to God because they felt like they had nothing else. And I mean, this was, like, on a worldly sort of level. And not just the United States is what I'm saying, like, Europe did it as well. So basically all these countries kind of came together and said, in the name of the Catholic Church, and said that we basically need to remove all Krampus celebrations because he resembles the devil, and we're trying to keep society and the economy going in a positive direction.
And I guess you could also relate that to them dumbing down paganism too.
Well, also witchcraft, right? You can also relate it to they're hanging the people that are supposedly witches that are doing witchcraft and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And so I feel like this all kind of went hand in hand. So for many years, like I think it was a few hundred years, Krampus and like the story and celebration of Krampus just like disappeared. Like literally where like people were trying to wipe them off of the face of the earth. And I guess the good news is that we do live in 2019 now, where the internet is steadily available and everyone can access the internet, and now Krampus is back alive and well. So thank God, over time, for those of us that are paranormal enthusiasts, we still get to hear about the lore that was continually passed on from generation to generation, even though at some point the Catholic Church did try to mute this out. So I do find it interesting, not that I'm not wanting to get into, like, you know, I really try to keep politics and like serious religion discussions out of it, but it is very interesting to me. I feel like we keep seeing a repetitive thing in paranormal, and that includes like alien contact and ghosts and like energies. It's always the Catholic Church trying to hide it.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
things
always
that
the
are
Catholic Church.
understood, or that they don't feel like they want to explain to people because they're afraid of whatever hysteria going on.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy because it's like, but and what doesn't make sense to me, with that being said, is it like they have the Pope, and like the Pope is always like this big person, and then they're the only actual religion that has determined that exorcisms can and do take place, that have acknowledged that people can become possessed. Clearly it's not just like, oh, you're possessed, we do an exorcism. They need like hardcore proof and evidence, and like priests have to get involved in the archdiocese. That's deep. So like if you're telling me like in order to get an exorcism, which your religion admittedly says happens, in the same word, you're also trying to hide all of the paranormal evidence or, like, lore that's out there, and it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because it's like...
Because, and, like, another thing is people are going to find out either way. Somebody out there is going to divulge something, whether it's, you know, all of the truth or half-truths. It's still going to be a thing, and people are going to dive into it and figure things out on their own, regardless.
Right.
Well, and I feel like there are things where it's like the more you keep things away from people, the more people are going to ask questions.
Right.
Or the more, you know, scenarios you're going to have where it's going to come back, or, you know, wow, like, I wasn't just put out there. So it's definitely interesting.
It's just such a double negative to me, and once again, I don't want to get too deep into this. I'm just going to say one more comment, okay? And the other comment is that they are trying to hide the existence of alien life, UFOs, paranormal lore, whatever, yet they're also being scrutinized for all of the children being molested within the Catholic Church. So I feel like this is really just keeps making it look worse and worse. Also, like, I've talked about St. Michael, which you both were actually raised Catholic, right?
Yeah.
Kat, you're raised Catholic, right?
Over, yep.
Yeah, and you're Italian Catholic, which is like really hardcore.
Yep.
So with that being said, though, it's like it's so unbalanced. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because I love the archangels. You guys know that. Like, I'm always talking about the archangels. I love the stories behind them. I tell you guys, I love the St. Michael stuff. But then you see like the Catholic Church continuing to get involved with stuff like this, and you're like, I wonder why they feel like the need to even involve themselves with this stuff.
Helping to...
make the world a better place.
No, I think that it's...
Are you trying to be delicate with your words? Because I feel like it's not working, Chanel.
They help...
Well, I think from a craft standpoint, too, you know, and I read a ton of books on it pretty recently, and, you know, the main crux of a lot of these books regarding the craft and, like, witchcraft and stuff is that people are afraid of it.
Right.
People are afraid of what they don't know.
Right.
And either they know too much, so they don't want to release that information, or they know too little and they don't even want to go there.
Right.
But that's not right.
Right.
You know, like, I feel like you should put out all that information and let people choose as they will.
Right.
You know, or do what they will with that information.
Right. Well, and it's just like anything, everything has morphed over time, and that includes paganism. Christianity wasn't even born until after paganism. Most of Christianity's beliefs are based on paganism. So, but people don't realize it, and then they get afraid of it immediately. And it's like, I was laughing because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I'm not going to say who he is. He identified as a witch, okay? And he said, all I did as a witch when I was a kid was I collected berries and sticks and made, like, potions at home. Like, I did nothing else. And, like, I never drank it because you don't know what the berries are. But, like, I still just wanted to feel like I was doing potions. So it's not like it's even anything that could do anything, in other words. You know what I mean? But once again, that's what it's with intent, right? It's going back to, like, the law of attraction and all that stuff. Okay, I tangented for a minute. I'm sorry. I was just shocked, honestly, to see the lore and the, like, research of Krampus come up with the word Catholicism. Like, and trying to, like, silence it. I was shocked by it. Because I didn't know. I had never gone this deep into Krampus. So anyway, so I also find it interesting that it says that, so Krampus means claw. He doesn't really have claws, though. But once again, I think it's that term to, like, make it seem fearful, especially on the Austrian side and, like, the German side.
Oh, yeah. Very gothic over there.
Extremely. I would love to...
been in that area.
Well, right, you have.
Yeah.
And I would love to go to Krampus Fest. That's another reason we decided to do Krampus this week, is next week not only is Krampus supposedly visiting the bad children on the 5th and 6th, but usually around the 6th through the 8th, I believe, is Krampus Fest in Austria and in Germany, which I just, like, have you guys seen the footage of it?
I haven't, actually.
You haven't?
It's crazy.
We should watch a little bit. Here, talk a little bit more about lore and stuff while I'm looking it up.
So this is the part that I was, like, weirded out about, is that, so misbehaved kids are actually beaten with birch branches or can disappear, stuffed into Krampus's sack, and hauled off to his lair to be tortured or eaten.
Right.
And we actually we watched
BuzzFeed video.
Yeah, we watched a BuzzFeed video, which was kind of funny. They kind of made light to things just to make it a little bit more watchable, I guess. Mm-hmm. But their depictions were kind of put into perspective the lore of it.
Right.
So Krampus is said to be the yin to Saint Nick's yang. Mm-hmm. So we got the polarities there.
Right.
You have the saint, you have devil, it taps into...
Sorry.
It taps into a...
It sounded like Krampus was scared. Oh my god! It's just like someone behind us. Just kidding. Oh my god, keep going.
I found it really fascinating, the fact that he was, like, hand in hand with a saint.
Yes!
In religion with Saint Nicholas. And that's why he comes around on the 5th, is because in Catholicism, that is the feast day of Saint Nicholas. So it's claimed that when he comes back, Saint Nicholas comes back, Krampus comes back as well.
But then you ask yourself, does Krampus and Saint Nick work together? Because clearly I feel like they do. Right?
Well, I mean, you think about it, I mean, it's really extreme, obviously, Krampus, but, you know, there has to be balance.
Right.
That's how I would view it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's we read some lore stories that they're actually, like, friends and they, like, know each other. That basically that Santa takes care of the good children, and if he goes into the house and there's bad children, he has to, like, let Krampus know, and then Krampus kind of comes in behind him. But, like BuzzFeed said, what we were laughing about, the guys on BuzzFeed, they were like, wait, this just doesn't seem right to me, right? Like, little Timmy stole his sister's, like, toys, and he was a bad kid, and now Krampus is coming to drag him down to hell, and he's, like, sitting down there with one of the president's assassination people, right? Like, President Lincoln's assassinator. And it's like, wait a second, I just stole my sister's toys, why am I sitting here in hell? You know, like, wow, it seems a little, like, unfair and unbalanced. And they were making fun of it, saying, like, well, what does Krampus do? Like, that's a lot of children he's dragging into hell. Supposedly he eats the children when he drags them down into hell. But then BuzzFeed was like, so does he, like, meal prep the kids?
Yeah, does he, like, chop them into pieces, or does he just eat them?
So he has a whole year of meal prepping, like, little kids? Like, what is going on? Like, what kind of lore? So anyway, let me pull up this video really quickly, Kat. I know that we're not going to be able to see your face for a second.
Okay.
But I do want to play, this is just a 38-second clip. This is from Austria's actual Krampus Fest, and it's creepy, but I think cool. I've heard from locals that have actually messaged us over the years on Ghost Girl Diaries, saying that basically Krampus Fest is for, like, an excuse for adults to, like, go and get drunk and, like, party all night and then dress like demons. So I'm like, okay, cool. So let me play this one really quickly. So they're obviously dressing up like demons, right?
Okay, so they really get into
They're
this.
whipping people, like, actually, yeah. Like, I don't know who in their right mind would actually take their child to this, but it's just...
It's terrifying.
I know, like, talking about giving your kid nightmares. He's whipping her, like...
Oh my god.
He's got chains and stuff, right?
People get injured.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked by that at all. Some of them clearly have expensive costumes, though, right? Like, they're really taking this kind of serious. No, I don't want to shop Kohl's, girl. I just needed that for a minute, okay? It's fine, though. I'm just gonna close this window now. So anyway, yeah, Krampus Fest is, like, it's a huge deal. Like, they take it very, very serious over there. I really would love to go to Krampus Fest at some point.
Yes.
Like, the official one.
100%.
I feel like it's something you need to experience in your life. You know what I mean? Like, you need to say that you experienced it. I feel like Kat would be hiding behind us the whole time, but it's fine.
She'll be holding on to my backpack.
I'm really interested in seeing Krampus.
Yeah.
Only because the videos I've been seeing, they're really beautiful.
Yeah.
Costumes are beautiful. The masks are gorgeous.
Oh, no, yeah, they take it very serious. It's not just like a parade. Like, these people are making their Krampus costumes and they're legit. There's also something called the Krampus Run. And it's usually, like, very snowy and icy, and oftentimes they're, like, kind of slipping and tripping and falling over each other. But, I still think it would, I don't want to, like, partake. Like, I'm not going to go dress up as Krampus, but I would like, you would, Chanel, like, you would. But I would love to, like, I feel like it's something you need to experience, you know what I mean? What else have we missed here in our chat here?
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to gather some intel
I
here.
found something really interesting. Sharing.
Go for it.
From France, they're like a Krampus-like character. So there's like several different ones in different, regions, different areas. And one of them from France is called Hans Trapp. And he, it said that he actually existed at one point in history.
So once again, the lore has to originate from somewhere, right?
Exactly. Trapp apparently was just like a really horrible human being, a crazy like Satan worshiper, and he butchered and killed children until he ended up being struck by lightning and killed himself.
Ooh,
So
that's karma if I've ever heard of it. Jesus.
It really, but then they claim that he comes back to visit children on Christmas, dressed as a scarecrow to remind them to be good or else.
I feel like he wouldn't remind them to be good. He would just be the devil himself, like literally. If he comes back as a scarecrow. That sounds very like scary stories, movie scary stories.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. There is lots of lore like Krampus, and every country has sort of like adopted it in a different way. Whereas next week, Yule Log Week. Okay, so that is inspiration from Sabrina from Netflix, but that's a different story. But it's similar to Krampus. It's another sort of Nordic person that's
very cool,
worshipped in a demonic sort of way that I'm excited to share about. But once again, where does this lore come from? Like, it had to have stemmed from somewhere originally. You know what I mean?
So there's so much lore everywhere, and it's like calling it lore kind of feels like we're doing it a disservice.
But once again, though, that's like religion, right? It's like, how much are you going to believe in it, right? So you could technically even call some religion stories lore. Because how factual can any of it be, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I fucked up for train of thought. Oops, I said the F word. I just dropped the F bomb. Sorry about that.
I did that.
I don't usually do that. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I was at work again and I wasn't.
Yes. So this just like spans throughout. The myth of Krampus can be found in the Alpine regions, Austria, Germany, Hungary, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic. Yep. And the legend has gained long legs reaching across Europe and around the world.
Yep.
So...
But they're saying originations were Nordic, which is... So that's Nordic lore, so that's way up north. But also Saint Nick is Nordic lore, right? Isn't he from way up north? Saint Nick, the North Pole, Nordic lore, extra,
Right.
I know someone messaged me the other day and they were like, did you know Krampus is just from Germany? I'm like, no. It's not just Germany, and it wasn't even originated from Germany. Maybe the word Krampus did, because that's German, but the lore did not begin just in Germany.
So, okay, because I'm seeing something in here about Pennsylvania, too.
Pennsylvania? Like where you're from?
So, yeah. Krampus traditionally enjoyed a host of different companions, depending on region and culture, reflecting local history.
So basically he has demonic friends, which we asked about that last night. We were saying, is he equal to Baphomet, right?
Right.
So Baphomet is the, quote, false god to Christians, Catholics, whatever, or aka the devil.
Yes.
And that's what Baphomet is. So we were asking, because we were looking into the lore, and we're like, so is Krampus, like, how are these all connected, right? Like, connect the dots. Like, is Krampus like other demons summoned in? Is he equal to Baphomet, but not really, obviously? Is he as strong as a Baphomet, but he's only half demon? Like, we were trying to connect the dots. And we never really did find a total infinite answer. It sounds to me like it's like Baphomet and Krampus don't really work together, but like they're like of knowing each other in like the dark world or underworld. But to us, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chanel, most normally, like when you're talking about demons, you're going to assume all demons serve as minions under Baphomet or under the false god / the devil. But it almost sounds like Krampus is even with Baphomet. That's what we were determining, right? In a different way, and which we can't really explain because it's the lore. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky because all of these different archetypes are similar. Krampus with the horns, Baphomet. It has a lot of polarity actually with. I guess you could say that Krampus and Baphomet are the same in the sense that you talked about how he had one hoof foot and one human. Then Baphomet has the breasts and the phallic, and then you also have
female, half male, right? Yep.
And you also have like the horned god,
right?
But the horned god relates more to nature than it does anything else.
Like a centaur, is that what they're called? Centaur, right?
Well, centaurs are more like
half horse, half man, half goat thing.
Deer, something, yeah.
I don't know. But they do look like they match in a way. Right. And we were trying to look that up too, but we couldn't seem to find like the whole centaur thing related to Baphomet or. There's a lot of things, but it just makes you think is the biggest thing. It makes you think and it makes you wonder like where all these wires cross. But in all seriousness, like if Krampus is so demonic and dark and clearly powerful, right? He's dragging children to hell. So basically the story of Krampus is he, the December 6th, which could technically be like 5th at midnight or the 6th at midnight, depending on the culture that you're believing in, you'll hear utter silence begin, almost like negative decibels, and you start to hear bells. Cling, 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 and hooves walking through your house. He has a giant, like, cage knapsack on his back, and he goes into each of the children that he needs to abduct, and he puts them in his knapsack, and he drags them to hell. This is for the children that have been bad all year. basically he's doing the parents a favor by removing their bad children and saying, start over, you got a bad egg. I'm sorry about that. I'll take the bad egg back. There was a mistake made in the Matrix, and I'm taking the egg back, right? Like, that's essentially what's being said. And so anyway, why, if he is this powerful and strong and, like, believed in, we couldn't find anything on, like, people summoning in Krampus, because that's a big thing with paranormal. People are, like, doing that lately, because ghost adventures. There's a lot of people out there that are summoning things in at their own discretion. I'm not doing it, okay? But why aren't they summoning in Krampus?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Does he scare the adults so bad that even the adults are like, oh, nay, I'm staying away from Krampus? You know what I mean? So, I mean, do you think that this could have existed? And if it did, Kat, what do you think the story or the lore would have been if it was real back in the day?
Honestly, that's a hard call, because there's so many different stories based off of it, but there's no actual, like, real, like, incident. I'm just, like, incident reports, but, like, actual things of people having seen him. But I guess it would be, maybe if the kid goes missing all of a sudden, maybe during that time, and then the family's like, what's going on, who's done that, and, who knows? Who knows what it could be.
Or they have, like, a crazy neighbor with, like, a bad haircut, and, like, he's Krampus, okay? It's, like, 1734, and my neighbor has a bad haircut, and he's Krampus. Like,
definitely.
Go ahead, Kat.
It's funny, because reading through a lot of, like, the different, like, physical descriptions of Krampus, especially with the chains, and obviously minus the hooves and horns, he kind of reminds me of almost like a Jacob Marley figure from Charles Dickens.
Interesting.
Like a Christmas Carol.
Right.
Because he wears those heavy chains, and, like, he's kind of like the dark side, and, stuck and whatever, and
Right.
issuing warnings to Scrooge, so it kind of makes you think if this lore was out there, if even authors were finding ways to incorporate that kind of lore into their story.
Like reinterpreting the lore in like the dark way. Interesting.
Because Marley was pretty dark for that time.
Right.
For Charles Dickens' time. He's very dark here.
Well, I still don't think that's like Christmas Carol is pretty dark anyways, isn't it? I mean, to think to be visited by a ghost from your past, present, and future, and like they're making you go through all this dark stuff. I'm like, I already lived it once, boo. I don't need to do it again. You know what I mean? No, interesting that I totally agree on it. What do you think about Chanel if it was an actual figure?
If Krampus was?
Yeah, if Krampus was a real figure.
I mean, I think that it would make sense.
Me too.
Because
I do too.
Where else would they come up with these things?
Or you know what else I think it was? It was because if this is pagan lore going back to Nordic times or Nordic culture, there was probably. Did you hear my stomach?
Yes.
Jesus.
I thought it was the computer.
It was my stomach growled. What I think was happening was some crazy old man was practicing paganism, witchcraft, and it was scaring everybody, right? Whatever he was doing. And he probably wanted to keep people away, and he was probably like, if you don't keep those kids away from me and they're bad, I'll take them. And that's or maybe he did. You know what I mean?
Too, this, not to get
completely
off the subject.
All I had was hot.
But what if Krampus is symbolism for like child trafficking too?
Ew.
And I know I went dark there.
That's
but
really like down a hole.
But you know though, like the whole thing with taking them and kidnapping them. It's,
Right. Well, I
think it would make sense if there was somebody like that was spreading news, or there was someone practicing, darker craft or whatever, was trying to scare people. So it almost becomes like a bad game of telephone at that point.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I was reading about the half human. Because normally we hear Krampus as like half goat, half demon, okay? But when I was reading, he had like a human foot in some of these. What I was thinking was, what if it was like a human practicing like dark craft or whatever, Nordic obviously, and was summoning things in and became one with the demon?
No. I'm about that life.
Yeah.
That to me seems really realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Freaks me out. I got goosebumps.
And then maybe in like while he was on this planet, he was half human, but then he obviously your body's going to die at some point.
Yeah.
And then when he came back as like a quote demon, he's taken the goat form on, which is the hooves. So I don't know. That's just me. Like that's when I start reading about lore. 'Cause I do really feel like some of these stories had to have come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, especially when they're so ancient and they go so far back and there are different, like, religions and, like, cultures involved and stuff like that. But you're right, Kat. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Have there been any accounts of people searching for Krampus?
I don't know, but I was actually going to look into that because I was thinking, and this is just an out there idea, if and when we're filming later, you know what I'm saying?
Like where this is going.
Like where it's going. What if we found origination in Nordic culture or German, whatever? If we could find and locate, pinpoint a spot, maybe it's a building or a city that is somehow like directly related to Krampus, and go investigate it.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Because then you can have some sort of like, and not that I'm into like, I'm not Zach from Ghost Adventures, okay? I'm not wanting to be like demons, but I do feel like this is like very different to me.
Yeah.
And especially if it's being as celebrated as it is still to this day. And by the way, I looked up the shows that have Krampus in it. Venture Brothers, Grimm, Supernatural, The Colbert Report, American Dad, various others. There's several movies on Netflix about Krampus, which I know you guys... Didn't we watch one year? Or no?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
No, that was with my film friends. I watched a horrible Krampus movie one time. It was like so bad I was in tears, laughing the whole time. It was so bad. What else? What else am I
Pretty
missing?
crazy. Maybe, did you already say this, Chanel? But I just came across this in our notes, that Krampus is believed to be the son of Hel in Norse mythology.
Yes.
Hel is the daughter of Loki.
Right.
Wow.
And Loki was in Marvel with Thor.
Yes, he was.
And Loki also dated Taylor Swift.
He did.
Yeah.
Really?
He did.
Tom.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, he had like a crop top on that said Taylor on it. Everyone was like, "What are you doing?"
You gave him such crap.
Oh my god. But another one, oh here it is, the War
okay. Yeah.
The Krampus tradition goes back to the late 19th century, but its roots can be found within the 12th century. So we're talking like way back. From someone named Faru Perucha, who similarly went door to door checking to see how girls were doing at their spinning. What does that mean?
Spinning's like, isn't spinning
Like
have
the
to do with...
ladle or?
Fiber. Yeah, fiber.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I want to learn how to do.
Spinning, so actual like making yarn.
Yes. Yay!
So they think it was somehow related to that. Also, Krampus tradition was tried to be removed after World War II. It did spike again in the 50s and 60s, but they tried to remove it because of the wars that were going on. And when I say removed, okay, I'm talking about they tried to remove it from Austria, Germany, all of Europe, and Americas. But it came back really quickly in the early 2000s, thanks to what, Chanel?
Thanks to
The internet.
And to the paranormal industry.
Yeah, that's true too. Very much. What were you going to say, Kat? Sorry.
Oh, nothing.
So there are Krampus fests. There is one here in close to Vegas. There was one in. Well, yeah, should I talk about the one in Vegas? Okay, I found one in Vegas, and we were gonna go, but
is it over?
No. I think it's this week. I'd have to look it back up again, but it's okay.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening in Vegas. There is a little, it's not little, but it's smaller than like most. You think of like bars or like eateries, like dining in Vegas, and it's like huge, right? Like lights, camera, action, it's big. So there's this little teeny like German, like kind of hole in the wall. I've been there before, and it's quite popular, but they're having a Krampus Fest there. But I looked into it, and it just doesn't look like it's for a younger crowd. So I feel like if Chanel and I walked in looking like Wednesday Addams and Wednesday Addams' blonde sister, I feel like they might kick us out because they'd be like creeped out. So I don't think we're going to go to that one, but there is another one in Los Angeles next week. We talked about going. I don't think we're going to be able to, though. We have a... Next week for GG is a really big week is all I'm going to say, okay? Up until... Which is weird, by the way, Kat.
5th and 6th.
As you know, the 6th is like a very major date for us. Right?
Oh.
Hello? Kat, did you hear me?
Yeah.
Krampus visits on the 6th, so...
Oh, that's weird.
Isn't that a little strange?
I'm a little impressed. I'm a little impressed by that.
Of course, Chanel figured that one out. I was like, don't do the math next time, okay? I don't want to know.
Oh, that could be a good thing, though.
And it probably is. It's paranormal related.
Right.
I feel like that's a good thing.
So let's,
But anyway, so we can't go to the one in Los Angeles. But yeah, there's one going on. I think it's close to Long Beach. So if anyone's watching now or watches later, I'm pretty sure it's close to Long Beach. So we were gonna drive out there because it's only like a 3.5 hour drive. But if it wasn't next week, we just can't do it. But then I guess Orlando, Florida has a really big one as well. And I was like, it's so humid in Florida. I would not want to be caught dead wearing a Krampus costume in Florida.
Oh my god.
I would kill myself in the costume. You know what I mean? Like, it's so
kidnap myself.
I was like, no way. It's so
I'm
bad.
gonna get Krampus bathing suit.
Woo! Yeah, just wear the mask.
Just for the horns.
All
Just the horns.
one piece.
I'm dead. Oh my god. But yeah, so I was like, that was weird. But what else do you guys want to talk about? The Krampus stuff. Do you think he's demon? Do you think he's goat? Do you think he's human?
I think he's demon.
Do you?
I think he's demon. Yeah.
Chanel?
I'm leaning on the demon side here.
Are you?
Yeah.
Leaning on the demon.
Is that just because he like drags children to hell? Because I feel
Well, yeah,
like you're
because I
being
mean, like,
very
that's-
I feel like that's unfair. I feel like you're not like looking at his good assets.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did I offend
I
Krampus
feel
here?
like you could be offending him, and like he's very sensitive soul. So I just feel like but
Yeah, kidnapping children, you'd have to be really sensitive about that.
or do you think he's like a creature, like crypto creature?
So that would be more of like a Bigfoot scenario. You know what I mean? Like something that's actually tangible that you can see like in the woods or something like that. You know?
Right.
Whereas Krampus has always been portrayed as like, oh, you only see him like at nights, or you can only hear him around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a once a year thing.
Right.
So I don't know. That's something that we should look into.
Okay, another question.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like you can't be that dark if you only come out during Christmas. You know what I'm saying? He wants to see the lights clearly. He's into like the Christmas tree.
I think we're figuring out
I feel
Krampus
like
here.
Krampus is a little balanced. Let's be honest here, okay? He likes Christmas. He's just also really hungry for children. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just taking the children to see the lights.
In hell.
Sure.
Christmas lights.
You guys wait till you see this lava waterfall. It is the most beautiful thing.
What if he
ever.
decorates hell in Christmas lights? That's all I'm saying.
That could be. I really feel like that could happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about this before though, and I'm not saying like I don't summon things, nor do I want to, but I do think sometimes archangels aren't always 100% good.
No.
And I also think all demons aren't always 100% bad. So that's
Agreed.
just not saying that makes them angels, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like human beings. We all have our polarities.
Right, don't they say that like a human wears like 3 masks?
Yeah.
It's like there's one at work, one with your friends, and one totally by yourself.
By yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a demon, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh my god, I'm dead. I know, there was something else I was going to talk about too.
Oh, can I just mention,
Please
without going too off track,
Let's do.
that the little animated short film that we watched for BuzzFeed mentioned that Krampus has red eyes. And the red eyes thing goes back to sleep paralysis and like
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. sleep paralysis, which was what we studied not too long ago, as you guys know that watched with us. So I think that maybe, and think about it, you're thinking about things that are happening at night, right? Like a child is being abducted and taken to like the lair of hell at night. What if the kid's just having really bad sleep paralysis and sees Krampus pop up in his room and it's just like in a shadow form?
Right.
True. And when they came, it seemed like they were waiting for Santa.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like where did
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm reading more here. There was so much on Krampus, we literally couldn't memorize all. It was ridiculous. They're just talking about how they tried to like force the culture to like disappear, and people just couldn't get it to disappear. Iceland has the Yule cat, and they supposedly the Yule cat is similar to Krampus. Did you read about that?
Yeah.
You just wanted the cat.
I just want Krampus's cat.
But
also,
but also, the cat thing. The cat sits on your chest when you're in sleep paralysis.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's all related to sleep paralysis. Honestly, that's just my opinion.
Or these beings that people are seeing during sleep paralysis are real.
Right. Could be.
So.
The Yule cat. Yeah. So there's something in Iceland called the Yule cat. And it says those who finish their chores are gifted with new clothes, and those that don't finish their chores are given nothing. And the Yule cat will come at night, scratching at the door to come up from under the icy floorboards to eat those for being lazy.
I mean,
so the cat doesn't even drag its prey back to hell. It's gonna eat you right there in bed. I don't know if I believe that one so much. I feel like that could definitely be like an old wives' tale, don't you think? Also, I feel like that's a terrible way to make children afraid of cats, and I love cats.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like, maybe there was some child that was afraid of a cat, and so then that's where that came from.
It must be something.
I'm reading that there's a capital of the government in Leeds, or Tyrol, and they said they forbade Krampus dances and further mandated that all Spider and St. Nicholas's must be licensed by the cities. They also pledged to arrest Krampus whenever they saw him.
Wow. And then there's a Romanian tradition where people dress up as animals, demons, and spirits. And any child that has been conceived or born on Christmas Eve will be cursed to become a beast, and possibly the next beast of, like, Christmas lore.
The next Krampus.
First of all, I don't know how you would specifically find out when you conceived exactly unless you're keeping a calendar. Second of all, why would you release that kind of information? Because it's nobody's business. I could just tear this apart like a lawyer. Should I keep going? No. Should I keep going? And this is a Romanian tradition to keep carolers. So, Kat, you're a caroler, right? A caroler is what? A singer that sings Christmas songs, right? So the Romanian tradition is to keep carolers to remind them to sustain from sexual activity on Christmas Eve, and to not break the rules and to keep celibacy. That's a
I quit. I'm done. Literally why I had a long day today.
Dead. It says a caroler had to remain abstinent. I'm dead. I was not expecting that. Okay, anyway.
Well, okay, we'll go there.
Once again, though, we're talking about Romanian culture, which is just another different culture. That's what Vlad the Impaler was, right? And Vlad was dark. I'm still scared to go to Romania. I can't do Romania. I seriously can't. Because there's so many animals that they have an animal problem, and I think that I'll end up having to get like 5 private jets and fly all the animals out on them. You know what I mean?
Do it. Just do it. Get the animals.
Oh, I can't do it. So sad. What else? Anything else? I think this is so funny how this reads so casually. In ancient times, a dark, hairy, horned beast was said to show up at the door to beat children and carry them off with his sharp claws. The Krampus would be heard in the night with the sound of echoing, clawing hooves and his rattling iron chains. The strangest part was that he was in the league of Santa Claus. That's a
The
little too...
League of Santa Claus.
That's what it says. It's like, that's way too casually written, isn't it? It's like...
just like, just another Tuesday. You know, fine. Krampus is just gonna eat your children. It's cool.
So in other words, Krampus is friends with Saint Nick. Do you know the Saint Nick lore cat by heart at all, or no? Because he was real. He was a real saint, right?
He did. Yeah, he came to the poor. Yeah, he was murdered and such. I'm pretty sure he was beheaded though.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'm pretty sure Saint Nick was actually beheaded.
Because he was giving to the poor?
I think there was someone was telling him to not do that anymore, and he did. And usually when you become a saint, it's because you died in a tragic way and you were doing really good things.
Wow.
From but with religious.
Why are humans so effed up?
It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
I don't know.
That's one question I'll be forever asking. I can research all this stuff, but one question I'll never understand is why humans are so messed up. It's true though. Like some of this lore is because of the dark things that we've gone through as like a world and societies, and it's just like gross. God, there's so much lore on this guy. Look at this. It's just crazy. It just keeps going.
Feared and loved.
Kidnap kids, bringing them down to his underworld lair to live for a year. So some lore says that he only like kept them like pets basically and like tortured them.
What if he was actually protecting them?
From like their crappy parents.
Maybe. Hey, look, there's so many different paths you can go down with this.
That is a good one. I need to talk to someone who has had their child removed by Krampus. Can you please email me at Krystal@ghostgirldiaries.com. I need to talk to you because I need some eyewitness accounts here of what's going on.
Oh my God.
To depict
You're
what happened.
probably out there somewhere.
I don't know, man.
I was kind of shocked how hard it was to kind of find some of this information.
It is
I
hard.
really had to
You did.
word it differently to
Yep.
get the information you needed. It was kind of unfortunate.
Also, too, like, going back to the whole, like, what if he's protecting them? Because they tried so hard to get rid of this tale, right? And
You mean the lore of
the lore of
Krampus?
it.
Mm-hmm.
And what if, because they didn't understand what Krampus was about, they made him out to be
Dark.
something dark? Because not all beast-like things are bad necessarily,
Right.
you know? So, I don't know.
It's true. It shouldn't
Really
cover up. Could just be
angle.
somebody's dog
Right.
down in
That
freaking
angle
Puerto
and
Rico.
everything.
Sure.
That's a mood, cat. That's how I feel. Another thing, it says that Krampus has a dark partner with a serpent-like tail that shows up during the holiday season with wicked children. And he would beat them with birch sticks and horsehair, while the serpent thing would whip them with its tail. So it's almost like a pet thing, or like a or something. I don't know.
Now, something I found very different was I was reading, and some folks would actually put like stick formations and hang those formations outside of their house, and that was a way to tell Krampus that there's a bad child in the house.
Can you imagine doing that to your own
like
kid?
their parents.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Tell me how early it is.
Weird.
It's true though, like you carry a child for 9 months and then you're gonna like set it out for Krampus. Like, look, it was that egg, I need
Now,
some.
the other side of that from a religious standpoint is you think about 3 a.m., right? How that's like a mocking of when Jesus passed away, explained, right?
Yep, dead time.
The sticks in front of the house is the literal opposite of blood being put on the outside of people's doors when the curse was happening during Moses' time. So the firstborn of every child wouldn't die if they had lamb's blood outside of their house.
Wow.
So it's that correlation with religion where it's the opposite.
Right.
Where it's
Why
like
are
you
you
got to
eating
hate your
lamb's
child.
Can they
So
just
you got something
sacrifice?
outside.
Why are we like you're gonna tell me you're Christian or Catholic or something and you're sacrificing animals?
Right.
That is not religious or holy in any
That's
way.
No.
You're
Exactly.
sacrificing a being. You're not a good person. I don't care if you're Jesus or not. It's not good. Alright. Anyway, sorry, I don't like sacrifices. I hate that part. It's gross. You like like dark stuff, and you think that's gross.
Oh my gosh.
You're not that dark. You wouldn't be living in my house if you were that dark.
I wouldn't. No. No.
Oh my god. Okay, wait, another one. There is the one eyewitness claim that claims in 1896 in a home in Vietnam that they're claiming that Krampus did come and didn't take the children because the parents scared it off. That's the only eyewitness account that I can find, and obviously I can't talk to them because it was from 1896. So I don't think I'm around anymore. But what cat?
You probably could find a way.
Like a great-grandchild, there's still like roaming around somewhere. Yeah, literally. Ouija board. Norse and Alpine traditions, German, yep, it's the same thing here again. So, I don't know, it's crazy. So some say the eve of December 5th, some say the 6th, it just kind of, clearly I think that in order to visit all the kids in the world, it would at least take 2 days.
Yeah, so 5th and 6th probably sounds more doable
Makes
for
sense.
Krampus.
You know what I mean?
Just be generous.
Let's be generous. I see that's the spirit.
Yeah.
I need you to look at the positive side of Krampus. Don't be so dark all the time. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
You telling me this?
Yeah, I mean, what
I
just
just
said
said.
there's some dark kids out there doing some dark things. Go ahead and drag them to hell. Like, we're not even here, you know?
That's
There's
why I
kids
said
doing
maybe he's helping.
sacrifices.
Maybe he's helping the children.
I know, but if it stole his sister's toy, that's a little extreme. Like, I think we need to do a Krampus intervention.
Okay.
We need to all sit down with Krampus and be like, look, okay, boo. He just stole a toy. We need to have a scene. What?
You would go hug him. You're like, Krampus!
I'm still hurt by that Krampus at Universal. I just want you to know. That hurt my feelings. He would not hug me, okay? In fact, he ran from me, and I don't think I'm that scary looking, but he was
He
scary.
ran from you on stilts. Literally. He went out of his way to run from you.
In all
What is
seriousness,
that?
he was going around on his stilts. Okay, explain the whole story, Kat, okay? He was going around trying to scare everyone on his stilts.
I was screaming.
Kat screamed and ran from him, and I ran towards him with my arms open, and he freaked out.
Krampus! She's like, Krampus! And he literally was in mid-walk, turned, used his stilt to literally turn around the other direction, and like started walking the other way. And the person just stood there like, oh, come on!
I was hurt.
There
I was hurt.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of Universal, was the creepy Christmas section,
Yeah.
wasn't
That was
it?
pretty
Yeah, that
cool.
was great.
We were gonna go
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
There were fires, so darn. What else? Feared and Loved, the myth of Krampus. Oh, they even talk about Czech Republic. So this is literally everywhere. Families traditionally exchange greeting cards with Krampus. There was some movie when I was Googling it that came up as called like Mrs. Krampus. And I was like, okay, Hollywood, stop. Stop. Okay, just...
I could ruin some things.
I know. So anyway, I'm just reading through this because there's so much information. But, you know, generally speaking, it is interesting, even if it was a Nordic tradition, that Germany and Austria really, really took it on more than anything.
Yeah.
It says many cities and towns within Germany and Austria are keeping old traditions new, and they have one called the Krampus Run, which I told you guys about. It's a sizable gathering, it says, but it's fortified by adults drinking alcoholic schnapps, dressed as Krampus in costume, and they basically chase each other through the streets. In Austria, there's more than 1,200 people that gather. And then they're swaying passerbyers with sticks and loud ringing cowbells. They also carry the birch sticks and the gold displays of like on his costume and whatnot. So it's taken very seriously. But this is the only time I've heard that Krampus hands out coal. I haven't heard that before.
No, yeah.
That's more of like the Santa thing.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Anything else that we want to add? Does anybody have questions? I don't know if we can answer them because this is almost like an Illuminati dark hole. You can just go so many directions with it, isn't it? That's why I'm
Did
not.
they say?
Go ahead.
Did they say that? Someone said that Krampus has been seen holding a broom. Or
Yeah.
like has pictures of holding a broom.
Here's the Pennsylvania thing. Did you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's some sort of like East Coast tradition they do in Pennsylvania. How come you never went?
I didn't know.
Are you gonna go back and go now?
No.
Look that up and see if it's around here.
What? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you'll have to drive to Pennsylvania probably.
I mean, I'm very near Canada too. I wonder if Canada does it.
How far are you from Canada?
Like an hour and a half.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Oh my
the border's
God.
right there.
Jesus Lord.
I know. I should just go. I've never been.
You haven't been?
I accidentally hit the border once, so we had to turn around. That was a whole deal.
That was a whole ordeal.
We went a little too hard. A little too hard to hit the border of Canada,
I'm
so.
like, oops, my bad.
Whoopsie! We checked our trunk for like half an hour.
That's so hard for me to comprehend because growing up in Colorado, especially in Denver, oh my Colorado's coming out, bro.
Yes!
When I grew up in Colorado, right, like it's like 4 hours each direction. So if you want to go north, it's 4 hours, and you want to go south, it's 4 hours, like everywhere. So to hear like you can be in another country in an hour and a half, I'm like, what? Like that doesn't even make sense to me. You know what I mean? Oh, here's the St. Nicholas section. So they do say, they claim it is that he is friends with Saint Nick, and he really just doesn't care about the naughty kids because they're bad, and that's why he calls upon Krampus to like get rid of them. So they're calling him a mythical creature in this one.
Okay.
Austria, Germany, Hungary, Czech Republic. And it's interesting because it says it's also gained a lot of recognition within the United States in recent years, and I believe that.
Apparently in the comic book series.
Krampus? Yeah. He writes it himself. I've heard of him before.
Well,
He's chilling.
is he a good writer?
I don't know.
Where you going?
Is Krampus going to be at Zach's museum this year? Because they had a Krampus there last year.
That's a good question.
Are we going to go? Should we go?
Yeah.
Because I think they were decorating for Christmas or something. I would like to see the Ghostbusters exhibit.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I haven't been to the museum
Isn't
in
there
like a year.
Isn't there a few new exhibits that he got recently?
Did I go with you guys in May or March or no?
No. No, I think it's just the time we went is whenever we were all four of us were together.
All four of us.
Well, whatever.
Right. That, oh my god, so it's been longer. I haven't been in the museum in like
It's been a while.
2
Yeah.
years almost. Wow, I gotta get a grip on my life here. It's not like I've been working. I've been working and stuff.
You just had like a.
I feel like I just realized that I've been gone for 2 years and I just came back.
Oh my god.
This pilot killed me, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait to share some good news with you guys. I just really, really, really can't right now. So, I think that's it on Krampus. Nobody has any questions or anything like that. Like, he's creepy. I really would love to see if we could find a location that is connected to him
Yes.
and go.
Yes.
I
I agree.
Whether it's Austria, yes, you should.
Yes.
Whether it's Austria or Germany, I don't care. I really would probably prefer Nordic if that was it, but it may not be available on the internet if it's Nordic. If it's something old school, it might be one of those like investigative things where you like have to go and ask questions and it like leads you here, and you know
So
what I mean?
Nordic, are we talking like anything like Germanic, Icelandic?
I'm assuming Nordic is all the very north stuff.
Very, very north?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a Iceland, wow.
An Iceland sleigh.
English, how
She has
does
an
it work?
Iceland sleigh.
No, I have a friend up in that area.
Ooh, we should go
So-
sledding at Mount Charleston. Did
Today?
you hear my stomach? What's wrong? It's the marshmallows. I never.
The marshmallows.
It's Krampus.
Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus is mad and he's summoning
Krampus.
himself. Right. He's like, ah. Oh my god. Alright, guys. So that is it. So what are we doing? Monday's dead time. So everybody watch is there new Ghost Adventures or are they on break right now? I think they're on
I
break.
saw that there was new Ghost Adventures on Friday.
So did they
I thought
change
they were-
dates?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Should we like snoop it real
Zach,
quick?
what are you doing, bro?
I don't know.
What are you doing, dog?
Let's go to Travel Channel and look. Destination Fear is on tonight. We're getting ready to go watch that in a minute. Oh,
Who's that?
That's the new Ghost.
Oh.
Or no, not Ghost Nation or whatever with Jason. I tried to watch the new Ghost Hunters today.
How was it?
I tried so hard. I purchased the file so that we can watch it on. We are gonna stream it. So the Ghost Nation is with Jason Hawes. Okay, so that's on Travel Channel. A&E is the old Ghost Hunters, and it's just with Grant, and he has all new people. And Blake has met Grant. Like, Grant knew who Ghost Girl Diaries was. Blake had gone to a convention and introduced himself, and Grant knew who he was. Grant ended up buying Blake like 3 or 4 drinks at the Stanley Hotel. And they sat down just to chat, because that was the time Ghost Girl Diaries, it was before we got shadow banned, and it was like really, the channel had like just exploded.
Yeah.
And so he knew who we were, and so he sat down with Blake, and like, so Grant's a really cool dude, but I was just really like, I actually ended up losing my phone, shocking surprise, and walked out of the room and forgot that it was playing.
Yeah, I saw your...
Because the show was just so boring. And then I'm sitting there, and I ended up, like, checking Instagram, and I forgot that it was still on. I was like, oh my god, I forgot I was watching this. But it's just, like, really monotone, and, like, so we're gonna watch it. We'll do a booze and reviews. Thank God we'll have wine, because we need it. But it was just very, like, I still need some more, you know what I mean? Like... And I mean, I Ghost Adventures too. I feel like they're 18, 20 seasons in now. It's time to get some fresh, good stuff in here. And I feel like nobody can do it. And I'm like, ugh.
I agree.
We did watch the Holzer Files too. I was going to tell you guys that because I know some of you are wanting us to do a booze and review. So I did buy Holzer Files as well. You and I sat down and watched it, didn't we, the other night? Only about halfway through. I don't think that's the same one that I bought. It may have, but I can't remember. People were asking this, so we might as well talk about it for a second. What did you think of the psychic on the Holzer Files?
I
Look.
I mean, I don't know because I haven't met her, so I can't determine if the psychics are real or not.
Can I just be that person for a sec?
I mean, aren't you always?
Yes.
Do it.
Yes, she says.
Look,
Elfie's on. Or is that Elfie? Yeah, Elfie's on. What's up, Elfie?
I'm not, like, super... I think that the whole psychic medium thing for paranormal shows made sense a few times, but I think they've gone kind of... They've done it so much that it's become overdone.
But what did we say that the Holzer Files was like? Dead Files.
The Dead Files. Yeah, Amy Allen. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And it's...
So this is interesting tidbit of information. Kat is my producer, which means it is her job to keep tabs on everything that's happening around us, right? Like, that's literally her job. So she literally watches social media like a hawk. If there's new shows or series that comes out, if weird things are happening, like the Chip Coffee issue and Amy Bruni, we just, like, need to know what's going on with things. And there was a time, Kat, that you were watching Amy Allen's social media, and this wasn't too long ago, and she was talking about fighting depression and PTSD. And she didn't look very good. And I mean, I'm not an Amy Allen fan just because I think that part of it is scripted, but that doesn't mean that I want someone's mental health to go bad. Does that make sense? Like, I'm looking at these shows from a production perspective, not from a personal level. So I don't want anyone to ever be in a bad place mentally, spiritually, or physically, right? But I actually was wondering if at the time her mental health was going down the tubes, if it was somehow related to the Holzer Files. Because the Holzer Files is so much like the Dead Files that I think she might be afraid of losing her job or the series getting canceled. So think of it as the Holzer Files is Steve Deshami, I don't know how you say his name, he's very Italian or something, is the ex-New York City cop, and then Dave Schrader is like their masculine, manly man who is like the pterodactyl of paranormal. And then you have the psychic. And the weirder part was you have Amy Allen that goes around making all these weird facial expressions and saying what she feels in each room, and then you have her boyfriend following, who is doing the same thing in the Holzer Files. This psychic girl is saying she feels all this stuff and, like, saying what she's seeing, and, like, her boyfriend's following her with a camera. So I think that somebody accidentally copied Dead Files way too closely. Do you feel like that?
Yes.
Because Dead Files, clearly, we may not be Dead Files fans, but we can say it's obviously successful because it's hit over 15 seasons, and when you've hit over 15 seasons, you've done your job in production. But you can't replicate things. It's sort of like Dakota trying to replicate some of the way Ghost Adventures looks, and you can't do it. You have to be your own director, own filmmaker. And so Holzer Files, did you like it from what you saw?
Not really. I mean, like, it just feels so much like
everything we've already seen.
Yes. And I don't know how to get past the monotone voice of Dave.
Dave is monotone, yeah.
I don't know if that's just
it doesn't make sense because on the radio, because Dave does all the radio shows, and I don't feel like it sounds monotone.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't feel like those sound monotone, so I don't know why. Maybe it's the voiceovers.
Maybe he was told to kind of be like,
tone it down, and be creepy.
Or what? But
well, I did notice the Holzer Files, they had recordings of him, the guy Holzer, whoever he is, which I'm doing research on him right now. We'll do a full chat on that. But it almost sounded to me like Dave was trying to mimic Holzer's tone. Because they had him on, like, an old school, like, recorder playing.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, is he trying to, like, maybe the producers edged him to, like, sound like Holzer.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, that's it. One of the old school shows, though, that I do miss, I always thought was good, regardless of issues people that had with Ryan Buell, was Paranormal State. I always thought that was done really well. So I wish that someone could have taken a spin on that. Right. You know what I mean? I always just thought it was good. I know Ryan's had troubles and whatever. I don't really want to talk about that, but he was a really good host, and he was really good with his narration. And I loved how they would film it with, like, the digital recorder, and he would talk into it. It just sounded really creepy to me, and I liked it, but yet, like, professional. So in other words, I wish people would take things that they've seen, but, like, reinterpret it in their own way, rather than keep replicating the same thing over and over again, because I feel like we just keep seeing, like, flop after flop after flop. And I was kind of excited about the Ghost Hunters revamp. I was hoping maybe it was going to be, like, because they're like, it's different. It's way different. And I'm like, I put the first episode on, and I'm like, but it's not. But it's the same. It only has Grant. Everybody else is gone. Like,
I have to admit, I was a huge Ghost Hunters fan whenever it first was, came out. But I was really young, too.
Right.
But I was super obviously, to the paranormal.
Right.
So I was a huge fan of Ghost Hunters. But now that they've revamped it, it's like, I don't know if I can go down.
Have you even seen it?
No. I mean, I saw bits and pieces of it, but...
Oh. There was something one of the crew members said today, and I don't even remember what he said, but the first thought was, gag me with a spoon. And I don't even remember what it was. So anyway, oh my god, we got off the top of Krampus, but it was so fun. So Dead Time, we're going to talk about whatever happens this weekend, which will be good. Talk about whatever location Dakota goes into. I'm praying for Dakota, okay? I'm also praying Chelsea doesn't lose her voice because of the promo they showed and her screaming again. Did you see it again, Kat?
Yep.
Blood.
Yep.
You can tell I've trained Kat as a producer. I feel really bad now because she's trained under me. So now she's gonna have no patience for anyone's BS after this, you know?
No F. No F. 0 F.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but her blood-curdling screams, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess, you and I got scared, right? We can talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we can.
You scared the effing SHIT out of me, right? Not the ghost. Let's just be clear here. The ghost didn't scare me. Chanel scared the SHIT out of me, okay? She was behind me, and she grabbed me and shook me, and then she screamed in my ear, and I was like, woo!
No, I didn't scream.
And so anyway, but I do feel like, even when that was like probably my most scared moment on set ever, okay, was with you. Seriously.
We got ourselves to...
No, I know, real quick, but like, even though I was that scared, because I was in front and you were behind me and I was the bait, okay? Even though I was scared, I still didn't have a blood-curdling scream like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy,
No,
man.
that's like, she screams for a good 5 seconds. You were just like, ah!
But it's not like, she has the screams of like, there's a man in my face with a knife and I'm about to get my throat slit kind of scream. Like, there is distinctive screams.
She's in danger.
She's in serious.
I'm just gonna like mute it every time she screams.
Just wait for her to scream. But it looks like it hurts. No, she's not. Every time she does it, I'm
she has to be exhausted after every location.
I mean...
Yeah, she does it to herself, though.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
No, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she's been doing it. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. But it looks like it hurts. And she did it again. What was this last one? The music box went off in the promo.
Yes. Yeah.
They have like a creepy little kid's music box, and the music box went off by itself.
It wasn't even like a loud bang or anything like that.
But that's cool, right?
Yeah.
But
we would be like, yes!
She blood-curdling screams. And I was like...
Yeah. So...
As a team member of hers, I would be exhausted to be around her if she was screaming like that. I'd be like, you just burst my eardrum. You have to pay for my medical record and procedure now, okay? Because I'm in pain.
I have tinnitus now.
I have tinnitus. You need to pay for my medication. It's $400, okay?
Yeah, and my hearing test.
Oh my god, done. I am deceased. Okay. Well, that's it. We're going to go watch it on that note. It should be on in about, 9 minutes on our time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you on Monday for Dead Time, 7 o'clock. Thank you, Kat. Even though you've had such a long day and you're like gonna pass out at any given moment, but
I know. Okay, I'm glad I could be here.
You're such a trooper.
Thanks.
Yay! Okay, guys, take care. We will see you Monday. Please subscribe to our channels. Please make sure you follow us and like us on social media. If you're on YouTube, please leave us comments and like it, because that will possibly help us getting out of shadow ban. But if not, F Logan Paul. Moving forward, make sure you tune in. We'll see you guys Monday. And thank you guys so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon. And happy Krampus Day!
Happy Krampus Day!
Make sure you, listen for the bells and whatnot.
Leave some cookies and milk out.
No, I think you're supposed to leave, rum, or is that trolls?
Is that rum? Or is
that's me.
That's for you!
Leave some rum. Give him an offering.
Leave Kat the rum. Yeah, no, oh my god, look. It's my nightcap.
Drink.
Do I look like I have on a nightcap?
You do.
Can you put on a nightcap?
Yes.
Let's sign off with nightcaps. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
And as always, we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.